Hey, this is Rick Rumble from Rumble in the Morning on FM 99 Radio in Norfolk, Virginia. And when I'm awake and sober, I often listen to the Hoppe and Super Rich Show.
All right. Give us the call. 630-785-2510. That is 630-785-2510. And a real quick reminder, if you like this show and the music that we are playing on The Edge, give The Edge, our Thursday affiliate, a like. Go to Facebook.com/The Edge on air and like us right away. Also, tweet at The Edge and tell them how great we are and how sexy our voices are at The Edge on air.
It's kind of weird. For both, our show is, our time for our show is 2 to 4 for every day.
I was thinking about that. And you can tweet at us at Hoppe Radio 893.
At Ryan Stuppridge.
At RRisky16.
All right, enough of the shenanigans. Even though I like this beat pumps me up. You know what I mean? Like, I want to go rave. All right, enough of that. All right, what's coming up in Super Rich news?
All right, well, we wanted to get to this about Michael Phelps.
I saw this quote, and Super Rich is going to read it, so I'm not going to spoil it for you. But when I got off the CTA train at Clark and Lake, there's like that flat screen TV that shows all the news, and I saw this quote from Michael Phelps about his DUI arrest, and I was like, oh my God, I have to talk about this on Thursday. Like, I'm not saying he's whipped, but this was the most lawyered up response ever. Like, this is the most pathetic response ever. It's not a fake apology because I'm sure he's sorry. It just proves that, like, he's an idiot and he's been caught in the corner.
Pretty much.
So what does it say?
Okay, so Michael Phelps was suspended by the USA Swimming for 6 months, as you may have heard. So on Monday is when they suspended him. The 22-time Olympic medalist also won't be paid his monthly stipend.
Oh no!
So that's
how is he going to survive? It's not like his net worth is $30 million. How is he going to survive? It's not like any girl won't go back to his house. How is he going to survive? How is he going to pay off his car loan? He'll be fine.
So,
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what a punishment! You got Michael Phelps. Oh no!
So here's a quote. Michael accepts USA Swimming's sanctions. He has apologized for his actions and, as he shared yesterday, is taking steps to address them, a spokesperson from his management company, Octagon, told CNN. So then Michael Phelps also had a tweet. He says, I'm going to take some time away to attend a program that will provide the help I need to better understand myself, he says.
What do you need to understand? This isn't like you're psychotic or you're bipolar or you're schizophrenic or you're anything. You're an athlete. You're an American hero who is too dumb to get a designated driver, who is too dumb to plan out your night, who is too dumb to pay some money out of your net worth to get a taxi, who is too dumb to maybe get a VIP limo.
Yeah.
There's nothing you need to understand about yourself. You're just a dumbass who drove drunk. And this is just the way because people are outraged over Michael Phelps, even though it's none of our business. I'm not saying he shouldn't be there. But, like, what do you need to understand about yourself? You're an idiot who swims.
Yeah, pretty much.
Adrian Peterson got arrested for drugs.
We will get to that after this.
Yeah,
oh my God.
I think I read something about that, and we'll get to it. But going back to the Phelps story here, Michael's conduct was serious and required significant consequences, USA Swimming Director Chuck Weegless said Monday in a written statement as well. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And then also Michael Phelps had another tweet that said, swimming is a major part of my life, but right now I need to focus my attention on me as an individual. And this is probably the quote that Ryan was talking about.
Just don't be an idiot. Like, there's no focusing. It's not like you knocked a woman out of an elevator. You know what I mean? Like, there's no focus there. It's like that you need to focus on because Ray Rice knocked his girlfriend out of an elevator. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's just you having a fun night and you didn't control yourself. There's nothing to focus on. Just plan out your night and realize that you're not immortal just because you're an Olympic medalist with the most medals ever who can swim fast.
Yeah, I think that was what the problem was. He sort of thought he was that he thought he could do anything. You know, he was immortal, or he thought he was. But now, I mean, he doesn't necessarily need help. He just can't drive drunk. Like, don't drive. Like, you have millions of dollars. You can get a taxi.
I get.
Or you can hire an Uber driver or whatever those things are called. A Uber driver, whatever those are called.
Here's my thing.
All around and stuff.
I'm not going to defend drunk drivers ever. But I do get, when you're some average Joe who can't afford a taxi, because you always hear, hire a taxi. Well, what if that average Joe spent it all on food and beer that night? He doesn't have money to get the taxi. Then. I'm not defending those drunk drivers. I'm just saying it makes more sense that when you're an average Joe, you're going to probably drive drunk because you don't have the money to pay for it. But when you're Michael Phelps, and your net worth is $30 million, you're any celebrity with a good net worth. There's no excuse ever to drive drunk. Ever. Because you have the money. It's literally like us paying a taxi driver 25 cents when you pay $50 or whatever.
Right.
And you give the guy a nice tip. Like, you're worth a lot of money. Don't be a dumbass. That's what the moral should be. And
I'm sure it wasn't too far from where he was living. Like, it wouldn't have been like that long of a ride, probably. He probably went to a bar near his home, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Well, you don't know.
Unless he was out of town, maybe. But then he could just go back to, like, his hotel or something, or go to a bar in the hotel or something. There's no reason to be going all over the place.
I just think you can go up to the manager and be like, hey, man, I'm really drunk. They'll do anything for Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
You are Michael Phelps.
Exactly.
You're not some
all it takes is a phone call to get a taxi.
You're not some guy named Michael Phillips that we've never heard of. You're Michael Phelps, an Olympic medalist, an American hero. And this is your second DUI. God. Yeah. He must just have a brain of just water. He must not be very smart. This is his second DUI. Like, what a dummy.
Just like almost all the athletes out there that think they're above everything.
All right, now before we get to other stories, Ryan Risky had some breaking news regarding Adrian Peterson, which is kind of a big deal.
Very big deal. Michael Phelps?
Yeah, that's it with Michael Phelps. So why don't you tell us, Ryan Risky, what happened?
Well, Peterson apparently got arrested for drugs or for a drug violation.
He was smoking weed, and he's not supposed to be on his probation. I will send you the article.
Okay.
It says here, Adrian Peterson could be arrested again on drug violation. Is that the most recent one?
So how many violations has he had now? There's been multiple. There's
there's the whole, I'm not going to say the word, sex in the hotel room, which is a weird, but that's not a crime. That was just weirdness that happened.
Oh, I know. But, I mean, he's had a lot of odd things happening to him.
He had that bar fight or something. He has the kid thing. And yeah, all the Viking fans go, he's an American hero. Or not American, but he is a class act. I'm surprised by this. Are you? How do you know what type of people these athletes are when all you do is either pay for their jersey, you sit on your couch eating chicken wings, watching him get first downs, or you pay an overpriced ticket to see a Viking game? You don't know who these guys are. So don't act surprised when they get caught doing something like this. I'm so sick of these fans. I never saw this coming. Well, no, duh, because we don't know who they are.
He actually smoked weed right before his drug test today. He smoked weed right before his drug test.
Does he want to leave the Vikings?
Oh,
Is
man.
he just so sick?
I think he's done
His
with
bail
football.
has been revoked.
And he was up for being a Hall of Famer. He was almost reaching the 10,000 rushing yards. He had that 2,000-yard thing.
I know. Well, he's the greatest running back in our generation. Now look what he's doing.
10,000.
It's not him anymore.
190 rushing yards, 86 rushing touchdowns, so he won't reach 100. 208 receptions.
It's safe to say he's done with football. There's no way that the Vikings will take him back.
Well, the Vikings GM said that he's not in their future plans, and they do not anticipate that he'll play another game for them.
He's also 29 going on 30 this March. Maybe if he was a 23-year-old with potential, maybe you would hang out with it. But when you're 29 years old and you're past your prime.
Well, and now with all the new rules, the NFL is implying that there's no way he's going to be back with the Vikings or back with any NFL team, I don't think.
That's what I'm thinking. So
I don't think anyone would take him back after this.
So read the article. What does it say?
Yeah, so this was posted just as our show started.
It was posted 5 minutes ago, actually.
Yeah, from Conroy, Texas. Montgomery County prosecutors have filed documents to have suspended Minnesota Vikings player Adrian Peterson arrested again after he admitted to using drugs in violation of his bond conditions. Court records show while giving his urine sample Wednesday, Peterson admitted to a staffer he had smoked a little weed before the test.
I love this tweet from one of my favorite.
That's a quote, smoked a little weed. I smoked a little weed before this, just to let you know.
Yeah, right before the drug test. Couldn't you wait until after it?
Yeah, exactly. Or just, you're a football player.
I mean, as Ryan just said, maybe he just wants out of Minnesota.
Maybe he just wants out of the NFL.
I think he just wants out. He just wants out of everything. He needs to revamp his life a little bit. So as a result of that, the Montgomery County District Attorney has asked the judge in this case to set aside Peterson's $15,000 bond and have him arrested again. However, there won't likely be any action on Thursday because the current judge presiding over Peterson's case is facing a hearing scheduled to take place Friday morning. So tomorrow morning there will be a hearing for all this.
It'll be interesting to see if the Vikings take action and then cut him immediately because he's still making his whole $11.75 million even though he's deactivated. He's still making his salary for this year.
Good point, because everyone's acting like he will suffer. How is he going to recuperate? How is he going to get back on his feet if the Vikings release him? Well, they have to pay him, and his net worth is pretty good. It's not like when you get fired from your job working at a factory in Cleveland. Yeah, maybe you'll have a hard time bringing home the bread. But when your net worth is $20 million and your annual salary is $14 million, I think you'll be fine in life. I don't think you're going to have a problem.
Not unless you go and burn it all like these dumb athletes. Like Scottie Pippen's broke, a bunch of other guys make...
Bernie Kosar.
How do you do that? How do you make these millions of dollars and go broke? What's wrong with you?
I predict he will go broke because this was on September 11th, surprisingly, 2011. He signed a $100 million deal with the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
If you blow that...
It was for, 4 or 5 years, maybe even more than that.
They might try to get out of that somehow.
Well,
they can cut him, except they'll only have to pay him.
You still have to pay him,
money.
Yeah.
What day did he sign the contract?
September 11th, surprisingly, 2011.
Of 2011, so he's probably only got 2 years left on the deal.
Yeah, because I'm thinking it was probably 4 or 5 year contract.
Okay, so usually usually only 3 or 4 years are guaranteed. So maybe, the guaranteed
7-year deal.
Okay, it was 7 years. So they still have to pay him the guaranteed money.
I think 4 more years.
Let's see,
of 36 him $100 million.
Well, no, let's see.
He can use it on as much weed as he wants to because Adrian Peterson's a moron.
Well, it said 36 was guaranteed, so that sounds like 4 years are guaranteed. 3 years are guaranteed.
Something like that. I don't know. We're not good at math. We can't do that.
Yeah, that sounds like 3 years are guaranteed. So that after this season, they don't have to pay him anymore. If they cut him, they won't have to pay him.
Right.
I just don't get these athletes who think they're above the law, who think they're better than us. I'm glad this is all coming down and crushing them in their face. Yeah, they will make money. Yeah, as long as they don't use it all up, they will be fine in life. But at the same time, I'm glad this precedent of letting athletes get away with anything is going away. Especially in a time of social media and those scoundrels at TMZ who are good at digging up dirt. We have reached a new era, folks, where athletes cannot get away with everything.
Waiting for Roger Goodell to come out and say something so he could bash him again.
Roger Goodell's not going to say diddly squat. He's going to hide behind his lawyers.
Did you hear?
Coward and a failure.
Did you hear that a poll by a bunch of people that they wanted Roger Goodell to keep his job?
Was this the poll of all the owners or NFL fans who didn't watch the news and they're
NFL fans
and don't have TVs in Rapid City, South Dakota? Like, what are they, idiots? Yeah, because defending domestic abuse. What a class act.
Coming up, the Hoppe and Super Rich Show.
All right, coming up.
We'll have that life expectancy story as well as a couple other things. For instance, a drunk stripper attacked her boyfriend with an axe. and another person has left their kids in a hot van.
This is like a weekly occurrence.
And this time, this guy was going to get a massage.
And was it in Florida?
Probably. We'll keep it suspenseful for the listeners.
Okay. Call the show. 630-785-2510. 630-785-2510. We'll be right back on the Hoppe and Super Rich Show. Here on The Edge. Hang on.
The Hoppe and Super Rich Show.
This is an official broadcast of Hoppe Radio. For more info, check out hopperadio.com and hoppesworld.com.